Table. We have Danny Ceballos here and Neil Katyal, the former Solicitor General, acting Solicitor General of the U.S., and I know you both are looking at it. I see it on your screen. What pops out so far?
Well, Savannah, it's been 22 minutes since the report's come out, and I do think that's really important. This is a 400-page report. All Americans need to pause, read the thing, and then dissect it. There are a couple of things that stand out to me right away. Number one, Mueller goes through 10 different episodes of possible obstruction of justice, and so far I haven't read anything that said he concluded there was nothing there, that there was no crime or anything like that. Rather, after discussing the 10 episodes, Mueller then goes through a whole explanation of why the president's legal theories are wrong. He says that they, quote, lack merit and that they're contrary to the litigating position of the Department of Justice. And so I suspect what happened here, but again, we have to read the report to figure it out, is when it comes to that key obstruction of justice investigation, Mueller couldn't resolve it one way or the other because he wanted Congress to. That's, after all, what his predecessors did. Leon Jaworski in Watergate, Ken Starr in the Lewinsky.
Is it clear that he wanted Congress?
It's not clear. He doesn't say anything one way or the other. But when you're writing this report, if you're a special counsel and you know, well, what have my predecessors done? Well, they haven't resolved it, even with Nixon, where the evidence was overwhelming. And Mueller's writing against the backdrop of that history, and so he doesn't resolve it. He leaves it for Congress. And it's Barr who comes in and inserts himself into the process and flips it.
Is it possible, though, that Mueller, operating under different statutes than those other counsels, thought the Attorney General, he's leaving it for somebody to decide, it's not going to be him, operating under the statute that I believe you helped write? Is it possible he thought, no, the Attorney General should render this judgment?
No, I don't think so, because the special counsel regulations that we wrote in 1999, which govern Mueller, were actually patterned on Leon Jaworski. So I don't think that they're different, and I think if Mueller's writing this, he's going to say the most obvious precedent is what my predecessors have done.
And from a legal standpoint, 10 items of potential obstruction, does the number change the ultimate conclusion? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
Well, I mean, legally, I don't think it does, but I think practically it does. I mean, this is a really remarkable thing to have a sitting president have 10 different episodes of possible obstruction of justice. That just shows where the bar has moved away from past presidents.
But again, the question of intent looms large.
Absolutely. And so under an obstruction of justice investigation, you have to prove a corrupt intent. And what it looks like, and again, we're just starting to look at this, but it looks like Barr decided, well, you have to have some sort of underlying crime in order for there to be obstruction of justice. It can't simply be you obstruct something, an investigation into something unrelated that isn't itself a crime.
And we should note to folks that a lot of our pages look like this, probably not as heavily redacted as many people expected, but
I think Pete pointed out, and it certainly seems to be the case, that the first part of the report, which has to do with this issue of conspiracy and also the Russians' efforts to meddle in our election, those seem to be more redacted, which makes sense. You're more likely to see classified information, the kind of thing.
And they list them here. It says a harm to an ongoing matter.
The rationale for why things are blacked out. Danny, you're reading it there as well. What pops out?
What pops out is, as many have suspected, from the early parts of the investigation, Mueller concluded that he cannot charge a sitting president based on that OLC opinion, and that guided his decision to not make a prosecutorial decision, because what prosecutors do is they allege that people committed a crime, and then we have an adversarial process that allows them to tell their side of the story. That never would have been available here, and consequently, because President Trump would not have the opportunity to defend himself if Mueller simply made a conclusion that he committed a crime without being able to charge him, that justified not making a prosecutorial decision.
It's interesting, because I thought Pete, I don't know if Pete's still with us, I thought Pete saw in a section that wasn't necessarily the determinative issue, that actually they had kind of overcome that hurdle, so to speak, Pete, this issue of the OLC guidance. I'm confused.
That's my reading of it, yes.
Okay, well, you know what? This is to Neil Katyal's point, Professor Katyal. You do have to actually read the report, and we're all